Hey folks, this is Gray here, and today we're looking at our September Prepper Pantry haul, and I'm going to share a little secret with you guys in regards to this haul. One of the places that I shop is called GFS, or Gordon Food Supply, here local in my area. Maybe you have some. I think they might even be based out of Wisconsin, but they're even here in Florida. And I shop there. I've never shared that with anyone on the channel yet, but I figured I would share it with you guys in case you guys have one in your area. There can be very beneficial. They just have a lot of bulk stuff. So here, let me show you a little clip of some of the stuff they have in there before we get into this Prepper Pantry haul. A lot of new things that I grabbed this time due to some viewer suggestions and whatnot. And then some things that I saw that were actually quite interesting. So instead of boring you and sitting here talking to you for a long period of time, because there's a lot of stuff to go over, I'm going to kind of go and touch on certain things. Some are just replenishment. Some are just to add to the room of the Prepper Pantry itself. And where I got it from, and why I think it's a necessity for you folks out there trying to put together either a long-term pantry or even a short-term pantry, because everything kind of coincides depending on what you're trying to do. Believe it or not, this is kind of a split system here. It is a long-term pantry. Probably you can see like the buckets almost stacked to the ceiling. I'm 2 buckets shy of touching the ceiling. Anyways, and then we'll have it stacked to the rafters, right, per se. Anyways, so this is a working pantry. So we do a first in, first out, kind of cycle things with our process. There's things on this shelf that I have to take out of its original packaging and process that. Like if you guys didn't watch the flour video, a lot of people in that last video that did it, they were wondering what I was going to do with all that flour. So I did a follow-up video. And it's always great to hear suggestions from you, the viewers, and questions from you, the viewers, because some people say, well, some things may not last long. What are you going to do with it outside of just putting it on your shelf? So there's some things that we'll go over and why I get it and how I use it, and kind of touch on some of those things as well. Now, there's certain things that I did already put on the shelf, which were the Keystone Meats. And you can see there's a turkey, a pork, a beef, a chicken, and then a ground beef. And some of you folks always ask, what does the ground beef look like? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip here real fast of the wife cooking up. She used some sloppy Joe mix, and the actual, it wasn't the ground beef. It was actually the beef itself. She wanted to do something different and use it as a test to see how it looks, because we've never had the beef on hand. We usually had the ground beef. So as you can see, it was very easy. This is what it looks, when you dump it into the pot, and then when you're starting to cook it and saute it or whatever you're going to add to it. There's a lot of different options that you can do with different recipes, and Keystone also will send you recipes when you order stuff from them. All right, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get into the haul and see what we got. I'm going to do some new things coming here soon. In regards to the hauls, like I had discussed, it's just sometimes it's complicated because I have time constraints. So, throughout the week when I'm buying things, I'll put it to the side and put it to the side. And then here I am with a lot of different stuff. So some of this stuff is a culmination. Some of the bulk orders that I got through LDS or Nutrient Survival are in here as well. Nutrient Survival came in yesterday. My LDS came in late last week. And then I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something I'm working on. It's up to you, the viewers, if you want to see it as I'm building it or as or the finished product, which is my medical pantry over here behind me on this side that I'm deciding to build out. I'll get into that and why I'm doing it and how it works and what I'm putting on it. Just to see if you guys think something like that would be beneficial to you, for you folks out there thinking about doing something outside of just a food pantry, is also doing a medical pantry. All right, so you may hear some thundering and lightning. I guess you won't see the lightning, but you heard some thundering and lightning outside. The storm has moved in after the very hot day that it was. All right, so as you see, we have a lot of different things here, folks, that we're going to go over, including some questions and some things that I'm going to kind of explain. So let's start. Maybe I should start with the larger stuff first and then move from there. So one thing is, we had discussed last time in the last haul video about jasmine rice, and it's one of those rices that people seem to like to store for long-term storage. Proper storing of this much rice, you know, this was 20 pounds, and I got this at GFS for a deal. It was about 20 bucks. I think, what's the weight on this here? I'm trying to see if it says it on here. I thought it did. You see here, 25 pounds. There we go. A 25-pound bag of rice that we'll process and put in for long-term storage. But folks, outside of just eating rice, do you know that you can take dry rice, and if you have a wheat grinder or in general, you know, a grinder in itself that processes stuff like, let's say, the hard white wheat or the hard red wheat, you can actually make rice flour out of this as well if you prefer to use rice flour. So it's not only something that you can use for meals, you can actually process this into rice flour as well. I'm thinking about doing a video on that, and here towards the next few months, I'm going to pull some of the long-term stuff that I have with the rice, and we'll go from there and process that into some rice flour, and then restore it, or maybe even use some and make something out of it if that's what you guys like. All right, so the next thing on our list is sugar. And there's a lot of folks out there that can't consume sugar because they might be a diabetic or they just have other reasons why they don't want to use sugar. Currently, of course, my daughter loves sugar because she's a teen. But here's another thing that you can do with sugar. And I think I'm going to show, I might do a video on processing the sugar for long-term storage because it's super simple, and there's two ways. And I'm going to show both ways how to do this. But if you don't, let's say you don't consume sugar, but you want to have something that's tradable. Sugar is like, it's like caffeine. It's a drug, folks, to the point where people love sugar. So even if you don't consume sugar and you want to take sugar and put it into long-term storage, you can use this as a tradable commodity. And a lot of people have asked how I do certain things. And basically, I have printout sheets. These are labels that I can pull out, and I'll put my sugar, what it is, sugar, and if it's ever different, the type, if it's brown sugar or if it's white sugar or any other type of sugar that happens to be, and then I would date it, and then, of course, throw it on one of the buckets, you know, like up there with some of the other labels. And there's always different ones that I have, from pasta to flour, and I'm pretty sure this goes on, salt, and so just so you guys have an idea of my process. But yeah, so just think about that, about in regards to sugar. You can do a lot more with it other than consuming it, but it's very easy to store. It'll last pretty much indefinitely. So moving on to some of the number 10 cans that I have here. First, we're going to start off with my nutrient survival. A lot of you folks who've been watching me for a long time know that I love eggs, every kinds of eggs. And currently I do not have chickens. It's a goal and the thing that we have planned, but having eggs that will last, you know, for quite some time for long-term food storage is the way to go. I'm pretty sure on here, let's look at the best buy. This is not even an expiration. This is a best buy. So this is 8/15/2048. So I'm going to have eggs for quite some time. Plus, they're also nutrient rich. If you're not familiar with Nutrient Survival, I'll put a link down to their website along with my affiliate code down below. But a lot of my viewers have seen me do a lot of work with Nutrient Survival. They're good folks. They are known as the Wolf Pack. And as you can see over there, I have some Nutrient Survival already set up. Some of my favorites that are kind of up there. and variations, and even things that we consume every day, some of these little bars and whatnot. But I want to basically double stack. I want to have all my nutrient survival fill this whole void because I don't want to let any space go from there. Some folks may ask what that is right there on the wall. And basically what that is that's my emergency lighting. I have them all over. You can use a remote, or you can use even a touch them and whatnot. But you know, maybe I should do a pantry tour for you folks if you guys want to see that, like a full-fledged pantry tour of what I have in here so far. Because this pantry is new, folks. This is a new pantry that I've been working on, specifically once we got into this house, because I have two pantries. I have the one that's in the home that we use out in the kitchen, but I also have a off-site location where I store a lot of food. And we cycle that in. Sometimes we'll bring it in here. Sometimes we'll, do other things with it. But I work with a lot of different people. All right, now that we have that put away, it's getting to where I want to see it. There's still some room up here, and we can always put stuff up there. Maybe some bins, like sometimes I'll have bins down here with some odds and ends that are kind of floating through my pantry. But at least we'll have some room that we can still have some space there. And then I have a negative space back there that I want to fill with buckets to the ceiling as well. It's an ongoing project, folks. It's an ongoing project. All right, so now let's move on to LDS. If you're not familiar with LDS, it's the Church of Latter-day Saints. A lot of those folks are into emergency preparedness, and I got hard white wheat and I got hard red wheat, just because you can use them for different things. A lot of you folks may be familiar with this. When I talk about rice, you guys mention this a lot. And we're going to be processing some of this stuff as well down the road, but each can is about 5.5 pounds. So you figure I got 2, 4, 6, so 35 pounds of hard white wheat and 35 pounds of hard red wheat. This is basically the basic ingredients or foundation for certain things. And what I mean by that is with wheat, think of all the things that wheat's used for. Just like flour, flour is used for thickeners. Can be used for breads and biscuits, and the list goes on. And we're going to talk about biscuits because I found a steal on some biscuits and gravy mix. I'm excited. Let's move on to our next product. And the reason I got this is I was watching Rose Red Homestead, which is one of my favorite channels. Her and her husband are great folks. And she had mentioned about, having pumpkin pie and how nutritious it was. And I thought to myself, she's absolutely right. Let's say you have a bad harvest and you can't grow any pumpkins, and Thanksgiving comes around and you want to make some pumpkin pie. So having this on hand to make your pumpkin pie, or to use it in some sort of, let's say, pumpkin muffins or anything of that nature, that gives you some options there. So they had a deal on there. I'll show you. You can see the price difference between Libby's and the Great Value brand. And I chose to go with this because anywhere where I can save is a benefit. So we got a total of 8 cans, which each can, let me see, the net weight is about 15 ounces, so just shy of a pound. So we got basically 2, 4, 6, let me see here, so we basically got 2, 4, 6, 8 pounds of pumpkin, which will go nicely with the turkey that we had discussed last time for a Thanksgiving meal in case things get really bad and you can't leave your house and you need to make Thanksgiving for your family. I know it's kind of, you're doing it out of cans, but you're still going to have that opportunity to have that dinner with the ones that you love. And that's what you always have to think about. Just because the world goes crazy or something happens, like a couple of years ago, and you can see there's stuff in the news still, this will give you an option to still, continue with the family traditions and whatnot. Quick, before we move on to the next product that we have here, which I'm excited for, I did get a comment in, I think the last video, and it was only one comment. Most comments were very, very positive. We got a lot of new folks that joined the channel, so thank you all for being so supportive. But someone said a lot of people will do these hauls because they want to gloat about how much money they have. And that's far from the truth. Maybe there's some out there, but a lot of us, we balance this in our budget. The wife and I, we work a tremendous amount. YouTube is not my job. YouTube is just the hobby that I enjoy doing and sharing my progress and my life with you, my viewers, because you guys have become basically a part of my family, an extended part of my family. So anything that's beneficial that I think is beneficial that I like to share with you and help either educate or inform, that's why I do YouTube. Anyways, so a lot of people say, how did you do, how do you do all this? That's the question that they ask. And I said, it's years, over years of doing things like this, finding sales, and then adding to the pantry. I've been doing this roughly since about 05, 06. And it started off small, and it just slowly gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you have a substantial amount of food. Man, I was so happy to find this on sale, folks. It was $1 and change, I think. Sausage gravy. So how many of you folks out there like just to get, some fresh biscuits, some homemade biscuits out of the oven and pour some sausage gravy on here? Man, that's good. And I don't know how many of you folks out there, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. How many of you folks love biscuits and gravy? I know some people are not a fan of bread, but man, biscuits and gravy, it's that comfort food. Just something that would work for you, especially if you're out there in the winter times and it gets really chilly. Having that comfort food, that warm food to hit your stomach, it just makes things that much more better. One of the other things that I love for breakfast, some of you folks may agree, or some of you folks may like Spam, but me is this corned beef. And I looked at the corned beef, and I had a choice of either the smaller cans or the larger cans, and price comparison for the amount of weight that you get in this can, this was the better deal. So I bought 4 of them because this stuff's usually expensive, and I found it at Walmart for a great deal. I figured, we have sauces, and a lot of people will make our own sauce. We make our own sauce. I did a video, or actually it was a short, of me making some tomato sauce with cherry tomatoes. It was a fun little video that I did. This one had no sugar added, and I went into the ingredients and kind of browsed through there, and there was nothing that kind of grabbed my attention. And like I said, if you find a deal on something, and it's something that you might enjoy, and you look at the ingredients and it works for you, grab 1 or 2 of them and give it a try and see if it works for you. Then down the road, you can, of course, take it from there and then move on and grabbing and stocking these for your pantry, be it short-term or long-term, depending on how much sauce you go through. Or if you make your own sauce, or like, again, I'm a gardener, and if some of you folks have watched my gardening videos, the thing is with a lot of this stuff is if we have a bad year, be it a drought or something of that kind of realm of things, we need to have backup plans, stuff that we can still consume the foods that we enjoy. All right, mashed potatoes. Oh boy, here we go. So I have I'm into canned potatoes because those come in handy. But Rudy over at the Alaska Prepper says, Gray, these things will last an eternity. Once you take these and put them in Mylar and do the whole process, these things will last forever, and they're super easy to make. Just add water, or if you have some butter. Matter of fact, I think I'm looking over here, and I do. Let's say you have some freeze-dried butter. And then let's say you have some milk, which I know I do. I have the Nido down there, and I also have some Country Fresh from Augustin's Farm. And that's pretty much the basic ingredients for having some potato. Or maybe you even want to add some cheese to it. And I'm just kind of bouncing around from place to place here. But as you can see, Rudy said these will last indefinitely. So this is something new. I grabbed, these are 1 pound, 10 ounces. I looked at the different prices at Walmart. This was the best deal, best bang for your buck. And I was like, heck yeah. So, of course, coffee is always on the list. Walmart actually had a sale. Usually I don't buy my coffee at Walmart, but they had the big bricks on sale, a little over $4. I couldn't resist. Now this here was from GFS. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on having a can of this size of beans. It was a good deal, and this is a huge can. It's where is it at? It is 6 pounds 14 ounces, so a little bit, yeah, almost 7 pounds. It's a number 10 can. Do you guys think that this would be a smart idea in regards to stocking canned beans of this size versus the smaller size of, let's say, canned beans like those guys there? Do you think, because it is more cost effective, And worst case scenario, you could always jar it if you open it up and don't eat the beans. Or maybe you have a bunch of family come over in an emergency and you have a big thing of beans that you can open up and make life simple. A couple of other things that I picked up, and I just got one of each to try them. This was at GFS, Gordon Food Supply. This is beef broth, ready to use. I like the fact that it wasn't in a carton, like there's a lot of your other broths that you go to like Publix or Winn-Dixie or Aldi's or wherever you're at, come in the box. This is in a can, and I like the size of the can. So we have a beef broth. We got the chicken as well. And then I thought this was great because I don't know how many folks like au jus. If you ever make a French dip with some roast beef and bread, au jus, ready to use, man. Seasoned with beef stock. This is awesome. So I wanted to try this as well. So we got these 3 big cans. And again, if this turns out to be something that tastes really good, I'm going to stock it and add it to the pantry haul. Something that you should all think about is bouillon cubes, be it chicken, beef, whatever pork, whatever bouillon cubes that you can find. It's great to have these on hand because what's the sense of having, 300 or 400 pounds of rice and not having any seasoning, And we talked about seasoning last time, so whenever I catch these on sale, I'll grab it, be it the beef, the chicken, whatever it may be. But like I said, it makes 25 cups of flavorful broth, but you can add bouillon cubes. Everybody knows soups and stews, and the list goes on. And these things pretty much keep dang near forever as well. So that's why I like the bouillon cubes. They're all individually wrapped. I don't know if you can see them in there in foil. Moving on, and again, my always apologies. Some of these videos can get long. There's just so much stuff to go over. Sauerkraut. I've never seen sauerkraut in a can. Maybe you guys have. Usually it's in a jar. Sometimes they're glass jars, which I really like, but a lot of times now they're in plastic jars. So I thought to myself, how long would this sauerkraut last? Being that's in a hermetically sealed can. It says November 2024, so that's at least a year for the best buy. And again, that's best buy. So it might lose some of its nutritional density and whatnot, but it's naturally fermented. This is great for gut health. I know some folks don't like kraut, but I do. I love sauerkraut. It's good for your gut. It's just beneficial. And like I said, if you have a bad harvest, why not have some of this in a can? And there's some folks out there that are smart, and when they have a good harvest, they will harvest and make kraut and then pressure can it. The ingredients is basically cabbage, water, and salt. That's it. So we grabbed 3 of those. I'm going to try one. If it's good, I'm definitely going to stockpile the crap out of this because I love sauerkraut. So this is a new one that I came across. This is Valley Fresh. It's 100% natural white and dark chicken and broth. I was kind of looking at the ingredients here. It says white and dark chicken, chicken broth, sea salt, tapioca starch, rice starch, and rosemary extract. Based out of Minnesota, Austin. Is that Minnesota? Yep, that's Minnesota. So I want to try it. It was a great deal. And again, it has the full seal and not the flip top or the pull tab or whatever it does. So when I saw this at Walmart this time around, I was like, let me check this thing out. Because, it marked all the things that I'm looking for in regards to long-term food storage or in just short-term. What was this one here? Let's look at that. It says 2026. I only grabbed 4 of them just because, it's my first time buying it. I want to try it out. We in my household, all of us eat chicken, the wife and daughter. So I always buy not for myself, but for the entire family. Because if you're going to prep stuff, make sure that you prep stuff that you're going to eat. Don't ever prep things that no one likes. Don't just prep for yourself. Prep for your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandparents. And if anybody has dietary restrictions, you might want to keep that into mind as well. So anyways, folks, that is the basis of my pantry haul this time around. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Did you like anything you saw? Were you kind of like, did it spark any ideas? And again, don't forget to please leave me some thoughts on this number 10 can of the black beans. Always love hearing from you folks. I try to answer all my comments because I really enjoy interacting with you, and I hope that you guys interact with one another. Folks, I really hope that you enjoyed this pantry haul. We got more to come. I'm thinking about doing a Dollar Tree haul with a specific amount of money to see how much food we can get. Maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 150. I haven't decided yet, but I've had a lot of viewers talk to me about some really good deals at the Dollar Tree, even though they've raised their prices. I also want to check on the size of the cans that they offer there. So that's probably coming down the pipe, as well as some other stores. Aldi has now gobbled up Winn-Dixie, so we're going to see how that changes things. But if you have a GFS, a Gordon Food Supply, check those folks out. They have a lot of bulk products. Hopefully the folks that are in your area are as nice as the people that I deal with. And they have some great bottled water if you're looking for that as well. Other than that, folks, thank you so much for joining me on this prepper haul. And as always, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the rebound. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you so much for watching.